Let's talk about the two most popular e-commerce platforms out there, WooCommerce vs Shopify. Now, which platform is going to cost you most in the long term and the short term, and which platform is going to generate most traffic, most sales, and therefore most income? Now, as an artist, I've sold a variety of different items on my own websites, as well as on online art galleries, sometimes resulting in $1,000 plus in profits on one sale alone. And so I can teach you a thing or two. Now, deciding which platform you are going to use sounds like a beginner question, but it actually is one of the most important decisions that you will make, because once you make it, it's kind of irreversible. You cannot really go back anymore. And on top of that, and this is something that I don't see a lot of people talk about, one of those two platforms for most items that you could be selling will not even exist anymore 10, 20 years from now. And so this is going to be a crucial video. This video is probably going to save you months, if not years of your life. Now, let's dive right into it. Shopify vs WooCommerce. Which one is the easiest one to use? If you have no experience whatsoever, if you have no coding experience, nothing, then Shopify is going to be the easiest one. You can set up a shop in 30 minutes, perhaps if you're fast, even less. With WooCommerce, that's not going to be the case. It's going to take you hours, if not multiple days, just to set up your shop. Then you also need way more maintenance effort to maintain your website with WooCommerce. And on top of that, you will not have any customer service. On Shopify, you will have customer service, good one, because you pay for that. WooCommerce is an open source platform that doesn't really have a leadership structure with the customer service aspect to it. There is just nothing. You will have to do it yourself on forums, asking people. It's going to be harder. So if you like it to be very, very easy, if you're a beginner all the way in the beginning, then Shopify is something that you are going to like a lot. Something else that you are going to like a lot is this video if you give it a thumbs up. Even if it's just to celebrate the fact that you have thumbs, which is crucial if you would want to, let's say, open a pizza box, for example. Just say. Now, which platform will be costing you most money in the long term? Now, first of all, paying for a Shopify store on a yearly basis will be a little over $300 that you lose there. Now, on WooCommerce, that will be around $60, something like that. It depends on which hosting chisels that you buy and all of that stuff. Now, on top of that, on Shopify, if you want to add particular apps that will increase the average value of your order, or will let you enable pop-up discount things on your shop to start playing on reciprocation type of sales tactics and stuff like that, which is what you will have to do in some niches to stand out from your competition and to make your store profitable, then you will have to pay for those apps extra. And so in other words, if you want to have a shop that actually works and that is profitable with Shopify, chances are that you will be paying more for those apps. On WooCommerce, a lot of those apps, if not all of those apps, are free. Now, little downside for WooCommerce, sometimes apps that you want are not really integratable with the WooCommerce store that you have, so that's extra maintenance, extra time, etc., etc., etc. And time is kind of money, so depends on what you are valuing more there. Now, two more things when it comes to costs. If you're considering of having multiple stores because you want to test out multiple things at the same time, then that's going to cost you a lot with Shopify. You have to pay €29 a month or the whole full year thing for every new shop that you want. On WooCommerce, that's not the case. You have your hosting plan, you have the whole thing, and then you can host multiple websites on that same hosting provider service thing. And so that's going to be much, much, much cheaper for those people. Now, one more thing that is fairly important to mention. If you want to, in the long term, make your website multilingual with multiple language targeting different demographics, then that's going to be cheaper with WordPress as well. On Shopify, I think that costs you an extra, I don't know it out of my head, like 150, 200, 300, whatever. On WordPress, that's going to be in total like €59 or something a year. Now, one more thing that is fairly important when it comes to your long-term decision for which platform you want to choose is the fact that Shopify can shut down your store whenever they want to. And so if you are, depending on which products you want to sell, if it's kind of a little bit shady, or you come from a somewhat shady country, then they can just shut it down. And so that's something to take into account as well. Now let's talk about one of the most important, if not the most important aspect of your choice, which is the marketing aspect. Because you will be driving traffic towards your website, hopefully, and there are basically 3 ways you can do that. One is advertisement, the other one is SEO, and then the third one, or those are at least the 3 main ones, is social media. And so from that perspective, from an SEO perspective, for example, WooCommerce wins over Shopify for some reason, and I don't really know why or how. WooCommerce is way better and way more SEO friendly, so that is 1/3 of your traffic generating mechanism. That's a lot. 1/3 is a lot. With Shopify, it's very hard to rank in Google. With WooCommerce, it's still hard, but it's at least possible. Now, the whole marketing aspect of your shop is very, very important, because in the next couple of years, next 5 years to 10 years to 15 years, a lot of people will go online and will be selling stuff. And so the market will become more saturated over time. And so as a result of that, you will be able to have a competitive market advantage to outcompete your competition based on 2 factors. Number 1 being the product itself. When you, for example, make your own product that is just better than all the products out there. But that's very expensive. That is a very hard thing to do, very expensive. You need some real capital to be able to do that. Or the second option is branding. And so those are the 2 things that will survive: product or branding. And so for most people, branding in the next 10, 15 years will become crucially important, will be the difference between having a shop or not having a shop at all, between succeeding or going bankrupt. And so what you will be seeing is that a lot of people will just fail in the next 10 years because they didn't put any effort on that branding aspect. When it comes to branding, you cannot really go for Shopify at all. Shopify is a generic app that looks the same. All the Shopify stores, all the Shopify shops, they all look the same, and they're all shop only. When you go for WooCommerce, for example, it's run on a WordPress website, which means that you can have your own blogs, your own articles. You can customize your website completely exactly as you want it to be, which is branding. On WooCommerce or WordPress, you have a branding option. You can connect it with all your social media channels in ways that you simply cannot do with Shopify. And so when it comes to the long term, SEO and branding, WooCommerce wins over Shopify completely. And so for me, it's very simple. You have to choose for WooCommerce. I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that. It's just my honest opinion. WooCommerce will survive. Shopify, for most products that you can sell, will not survive the next 1 year. And besides everything that we talked about in this video, we could also be talking about print-on-demand websites that you can use to sell items online without having your own website or hosting your own website. But that would be another 10 minutes and a completely different video, which I actually made. It's called 6 best websites, print-on-demand websites for artists, something like that. And because you made it all the way to the end of this video, comment anything down below and I will reply. So yeah, that's it. Hope to see you again sometime soon on the internet. Ciao, ciao.